Welcome back to the Weber Cup at the Barnsley Metrodome. The USA already have established a formidable lead. They lead 7-3. The Americans already looking really strong. They lead by 4 points. And if it carries on like this, they will win their third consecutive Weber Cup. Here's what's happened so far. Team Europe had a rocky start to their campaign. They couldn't stop the force of the Americans, who celebrated 2 300 games back-to-back, which helped them take a 5-1 lead. The second session saw Team Europe battling back, but their good run was not to last. The singles match saw Tommy Jones up against Stu Williams. The American for a while looked like he was going to record his second perfect score of the event, but it wasn't to be. 2 open frames didn't stop him beating the Brit though, and Team USA were back in control. The doubles match featured both team captains. Europe looked in trouble. They had 3 open frames, and the USA went on to win their second point of the session. This is confirmation of the results in session 2. USA leads 7-3. And coming up, we have the singles clash, and then the doubles game featuring the European duo Dom Barrett and Mika Koivuniemi, and the American pairing Bill O'Neill and Tommy Jones. Europe will be hoping to close the gap and get back in contention. So it's time for our next singles match here in Barnsley. Representing Team Europe, it's Martin Larsson. And representing the Americans, Bill O'Neill. Bill and Martin are going to come over and have a quick chat with me. Bill, a few cheers and a few boos for you there. The atmosphere in the crowd is getting quite tasty here.
You know, I've always heard over the years that the English are a very loud bunch, but they're not. So I've always wanted to bowl against a loud and raucous crowd, so this is actually good for me.
We've seen you here for a few years now. You seem to be, personally, enjoying it more than ever before. Is that fair to say?
Well, when you bowl with guys like Tommy, Chris, and Mike, and they're bowling 300 every other game, it's a lot of fun for me.
OK, Bill, stay there. Martin, what about that little bit of fighting talk from the Americans? But you have got a lot of support here today.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, we have a great crowd here, and I really hope to please them this game.
And personally speaking, you're back in the Weber Cup outfit, and it's been a better session, hasn't it, for Team Europe?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, we got double as many points already. So we're looking to get some more, yeah.
Good, well done indeed, ladies and gentlemen. Martin and Bill. And over to your commentators, Cass Edwards and Andy Boldfish.
It's the penultimate match of the second session at the Weber Cup. It's singles. It's Martin Larsson against Bill O'Neill. Bill to throw first. And he's left to spare first up. The way things have been going over the last couple of matches, Europe will take that.
Yeah, can't quite draw first blood with a strike. Again, this shot has just gone a little bit wide. He's only just made the head pin. Unfortunate not to get some action in the back of the pin deck to take that 7-pin away. But as you're saying, it can only be a spare. And just about makes that one with that hard and straight spare ball. So come on, Martin Larsson, show everybody what you're made of. There you see Bill's spare shot, and that ball is not moving at all. It's going dead straight, and it's just got it by a whisker.
Martin Larsson, 9 strikes so far in this Weber Cup. So on the back of those 9 strikes, can he move into double figures? Not quite. So nearly, but it's that tricky 10-pin again. Wouldn't budge.
Yeah, the 10-pin stands up when the angle's not quite right, and there's a little bit of deflection off of the head pin. Just pushes through the 3-pin, and the 6-pin just falls flat in the gutter there. No action to hit the 10-pin and get it out of the way. So hard and straight from the left-hand side of the lane. Please hang on.
Oh, no, 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 Martin.
Well, you get your angles wrong. I mean, he's just dropped in the channel, and that's the worst possible start.
He's fresh into this Weber Cup team this year, Cass. Nerves are playing a part here, Martin, undermining his play.
No, I don't think so. He's just got the angle wrong here. These guys strike an awful lot, and when they leave a 10-pin, they realise, I haven't bowled at this 10-pin for about 3 games. What's going on? And then, well, what can I say about Bill O'Neill? He's thrown another wide shot. We've seen this in the previous game. He just gets snagged up on the outside of the lane in that hole, and the ball doesn't react enough. Just abseiling away, way outside, misses the head pin, right-hand side, leaves the 1-2-4. And the American fans in their Stars and Stripes outfits can't believe that one. Not the sort of thing that Bill O'Neill wanted to leave, just after Larsson's had an open frame, and Bill O'Neill can't spare that one either, so it's head in hands for all the fans from the USA.
It's catching. Here he is, yeah.
2 bad shots in a row in the same frame from Bill O'Neill, and it is an open. So my oh my, what are we going to look for here later in the game?
Already 2 frames in. And the maximum for Bill O'Neill is a 266. Here's Martin, back on form.
Well, it could actually have been 2 strikes in a row. It isn't. It's an open frameless strike, but the way the crowd reacted there should really encourage Martin, give him lots of confidence. There again, split screen with Martin Larsson. Not the highest batsman, but he's a very tall man, and look at that long stride he takes, the sliding foot, just short of the foul line, and a great follow-through. Holds the position, head above the knee. Perfect-looking approach and delivery.
Bill finds the pocket to perfection. Strike.
I wouldn't say it was a readjustment shot, but it certainly hit the head pin, let's say. And here is Bill, not the highest backswing in the world. Again, deep knee bend, holds the position on that one leg. Great follow through, keeps the head still. Beautiful looking shot, just short of the foul line. Managed to follow through and get a strike.
2 in a row for Martin. Enough to banish the painful memory. And that open frame first off here.
Well, every time Martin can put the ball in the pocket and carry 10, it's going to do his confidence the world of good. He may look a little bit nervous, but I'm not sure that he is. He's got lots of experience. He's played the European Tour, he's played out on the United States Tour, made lots and lots of finals, won some gold medals in the World 10-Pin Bowling Association's World Championships. O'Neill looking for another one, and managed to get it. 2 strikes in a row for him.
Well played, Bill. Back to Martin Larsson.
Yeah, these 2 players have kind of been identified as not the weak link in any of the side, but they haven't brought their A game with them just at the moment. They need to get a few strikes under their belts, get some confidence, just repeat the good shots one after the other.
And that's a turkey for Martin Larsson. That's how to hit back.
Yeah, very unfortunate about that open frame, dropping the ball in the channel when he was bowling the 10-pin in frame number 1, but apart from that he's been perfect. 12 strikes, 6 squares, and just the one open which we saw just now, so yeah, he's pretty much on his game. He'd really like to stick a 279 game in if he could, just to do his confidence, the power of good. And if he could, well, he'd win the game and beat O'Neill, who can only strike out for 266. And again, Bill turns away in disgust in that shot. He just didn't like it off the hand. ball has sailed away. Very fortunate to break up the 2-4 and the 10. The 10 pin's gone. Watch this shot here. It's outside his mark.
Didn't like it, did he?
Not at all. It's got caught up in the oil outside and disgusted. He is a little bit self-critical as well. He does identify that not all the time does he play the greatest shot, but he's made a spare, and that will have to do.
Well, as things stand at present, this match is Europe's to lose.
Yeah, Martin's got himself lined up now, 3 in a row. He'll be looking for 4. Just got to be consistent.
Strikes in frames 2, 3, 4, and now 5 for Martin Larsson.
Yes,
Lifted the noise levels set amongst, well, the Don Barrett crew, which doubles as Team Europe Appreciation Society.
was a great looking shot, and he knows how important that is. Not just for him, but for Team Europe.
It's the singles match between Martin Larsson and Bill O'Neill, and the European currently leads after getting 4 strikes in a row. It's the American's turn on the lane, and O'Neill appears to be struggling. Let's hand back to your commentators.
Bill just off his groove slightly there.
For the 3rd time in this game, he's only just made the headpin. He is struggling to keep that ball in play in his zone. Again, he's outside his mark. He makes the headpin, fortunate to take out the 10 pin. Just leaves a spare standing, single pin. Spares will not win this game for Bill O'Neill. Chance for Martin Larsson to, well, keep turning the screw, making it tighter and tighter on Bill. Pressure time very much on the man from Team USA. Another strike here for Larsson will maintain that 46 pin lead that he's got just at the moment.
And it'd be his 5th in a row. Yes!
Yeah, Martin's showing some of the form that he's been showing bowlers around the world and Europe this year. He's had a really good year bowling-wise, won a couple of events. Hits the headpin, carries a strike and makes it 5 in a row.
And after that gutter ball in the opening frame. Terrific response here from Martin.
Absolutely, yeah, very professional. Pressure very much back here on Bill O'Neill.
Frame 7. O'Neill strikes. This is a fascinating contest. Well, you mentioned it a moment or 2 ago, very self-critical, and even there's a shake of the head as he gets back to his seat.
Larsson, on the other hand, is on a bit of a roll here. He's hit a 5-pack, going for 6.
Gets it as well. Got the rhythm now. This is why Martin Larsson is the replacement for Oscar Palermo in this year's European Weber Cup squad.
It's a great looking card, and there was never any doubt that Martin Larsson would be a suitable replacement for Oscar Palermo. He's got the credentials. He's played the Weber Cup once before in 2009 when he had a high cam of 290. So he knows his way around this lane. But Bill O'Neill has also doubled up, just trying to keep in the slipstream of Larsson. One more time, Martin. You've got 6. Why not go for 7? You're totally lined up. You're locked and loaded. Why not bury another one?
No, the cut run is over. Leaves that 10 pin standing. But even so, Europe are on course for another point here.
To all intents and purposes, it looked as good as the others. It was just a fraction light on the headpin. The 10 pin did get a tap, but wouldn't go. So disappointment there. Now let's see you spare this 10 pin, Martin. That's better. And he appreciates that as well from the crowd.
Sigh of relief there after the opening frame. So 258 remains a maximum for Martin Larsson in this singles match, the penultimate match of the session. What can Bill do as he steps up to his foundation frame?
Well, he's 25 adrift, but he is working on 2 strikes. A third here will do his cause. The power of good, and oh my word, can you believe that? A wobbling 9-pin off of a great-looking pocket shot. What's happened here is he's hit the pocket. Now just watch this. Perfect-looking shot into the 1-3 pocket. So much drive on the ball, it's gone straight through and hasn't deflected onto that 9-pin, which wobbles but hasn't gone over. And that was just simply too much power on the ball as it cut through the pin deck.
Makes his spare. But here's Martin again.
Yeah, he'd be really pleased to strike out here. 258 is the maximum he can make, and it will do his confidence so much good. Obviously, it's having the adverse effect on Bill O'Neill, who's slightly disgruntled sitting down there.
Superb from Martin Larsson. Another strike. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and now frame 9 for the Swede.
Yeah, just showing some form that he's had this year and showing off his skill and ability to those that may not have seen Martin before. Close up.
Clean and clinical there from Bill O'Neill.
So it's going to be a big disappointment for Team USA, and especially Bill O'Neill, who stood up and put his name on the line. Didn't quite come up with the goods.
Too little too late here for the real deal.
Well, he's bowled 6 strikes. Unfortunately, he has one big open frame, which has devastated his score. But Martin Larsson, 7-bagger.
Well, this will do Martin the power of good. Experimental ball just to round it off there for Bill O'Neill.
Yeah, makes 200. Looks very disappointed. It's not the greatest game. It's quite a high-scoring lane condition, and he really hasn't got it going this time. So it's the man from Sweden who will now stand up.
It's been a case of from the ridiculous to the sublime over the course of this match for Martin Larsson. After that gutter ball in the opening frame, he has been near impeccable since.
Yes, another shot rips the rack. Victory is his. And he's pretty joyous about that, as were the crowd. So bowling for fun on the last couple of balls in the 10th frame.
Well, that doesn't matter, 4 pins left standing here, but that is Team Europe's first singles victory against USA in 7 at the Weber Cup. Not since Osku Palermo, midway through the 3rd session in the 2012 competition, has a single European man been punching the air in delight, but Martin Larsson is here. He got the better of Bill O'Neill to bring it back to 7-4 now in Weber Cup 14. Europe with the first 2 points of the session in the Baker and the opening doubles. Back came the USA with Tommy Jones in the singles, and then Barnes and Bill O'Neill beating Koivuniemi and Larsson in their doubles match. But now it's Martin Larsson with Europe's 4th point of Weber Cup 14. The USA do still lead though, 7-4. Tony is laneside.
I am indeed with Martin Larsson. Martin, well done. That is the first singles point that Team Europe have won in this Weber Cup. How important is that for you?
What do you think? Is it important? It's an icebreaker. I mean, it's we got to win single matches to win it. So yeah, I think it's pretty important.
You like getting this crowd going as well, don't you?
Oh, of course. It's that's why we're here, to win and to get them going. So yeah, helps.
And Europe much better on this Saturday afternoon session. What do you think has changed from Friday night?
3 times the crowd, maybe. I don't know. Well, we had no choice. We had to step up, and we're on the way.
Martin, well done. You've won another point for Team Europe, who are now just 3 behind. Can they win another in the final match of the session? It's coming up after the break. We are at the Barnsley Metrodome for Weber Cup 14. It's the Ryder Cup of Temping with the Americans against the Europeans. Team USA started their campaign well, winning 5 matches in a row and still hold a convincing lead 7-4. Coming up next, it's the last doubles match of the session. Playing for Team Europe, Dom Barrett and team captain Mika Koivuniemi.
Dominic is great guy. I remember when he first came for the Weber Cup, and he was young talented. Now he has much more experience, and he's going to be a great star in the future of the sport.
Mika has, vast amount of experience. He's getting on a bit himself, so he's definitely a good captain for us to try and a fairly young team, really, in Stuart, Martin, and I. So having him as the head of the team is going to be very important. And we're looking forward to him leading us to victory.
Team USA, you better be ready for us.
The American contenders are 4-time PBA winner Bill O'Neill and Mr. 300 Tommy Jones.
Bill O'Neill's, he's been a really good friend of mine. Bowling-wise, he's one of the best. He's won the U.S. Open, and you don't win the U.S. Open by fluke.
Tommy is a guy that has become one of my best friends the last 3 or 4 years or so. He's a great guy. He's someone that's taught me a lot about the game and a lot about life. So again, to bowl with him too is something great.
My message for Team Europe is you're not going to win.
Our final match of the afternoon session, it's a double match, and representing Team Europe, Dom Barrett and Mika Koivuniemi. Representing Team USA, Bill O'Neill and Tommy Jones. Now, we're looking forward to seeing you guys go head-to-head, because last night I had Tommy on this stage and he said, yeah, Dom's been giving it a lot of chat backstage. That's right, isn't it, Tommy?
It's been more than backstage. I get the random text, and some people know that Dom and I are actually teammates back in the States in the PBA League, so we're going to have to amend this in a couple days, but for right now, I don't like him.
Dom, how much would you like to beat Tommy in this game?
It's pretty easy to start running your mouth off when you're leading 5-1, but it's getting a bit closer now. So we'll see how much they're going to be doing that when we're back to being level, which we're going to be after tonight. Damn right. And it's not just me who doesn't like Tommy right now. There's about 500 people in here that are quite happy to rip his guts out as well.
That's quite violent of you, Dom. Anyway, thanks very much indeed. That's enough fighting talk for now, ladies and gentlemen. Tommy and Dom, you heard how much it means. Let's hand you over to our commentators, Cass Edwards and Andy Bodfish.
Well, fighting talk indeed, and that's exactly what Europe needed. Something of that spirit after the disaster of the opening session. But they are right back in the mixer in the 888.com Weber Cup. The final match of the second session at Weber Cup 14. Doubles, Dom Barrett and Mika Koivuniemi, England and Finland, against Bill O'Neill from Pennsylvania and Tommy Jones, the South Carolinian. Dom is up first. Messenger knocked and was let in. That 10-pin tumbled strike to open up for Europe.
Yeah, first blood to Don Barrett. Great looking shot. Perfect down the lane. Hits his mark. It's a little bit light on the headpin, and the 10-pin goes last of all. Little Messenger gives it a nudge. Captain likes that one, and it's high fives all round.
Bowling first for the US, Bill O'Neill. Strike for the US too.
Yeah, nice looking shot. That will do Bill's confidence a great deal of good. I think that's starting with a strike.
So Scotch doubles, Don Barrett with a strike, meaning it's Mika to whom the baton passes next. Messengers in 2 bowls for Europe. There's the moose.
Mika's already spared the 7-10 in this tournament. This ball leaves the 7-10, and then he knocks them both over. So you could say it's a 7-10 conversion yet again. There's a lot of flying wood round there, and it counts as a strike. And don't get in my way. The moose is loving it. Jones back on, looking for 10. Can only make 8.
No, he is human after all.
Well, he rushed on a little bit, didn't it? Leaves the 2 and the 8-pin, what we call the sleeper, one right behind the other. Not the easiest of spares. And here comes his shot. He's moved left on the approach. He's given the ball some width. It looks good there. It doesn't make the pocket. It hasn't quite come up. No drive through the pins. And O'Neill has got a tricky little spare here. He has to make sure he covers that back pin, the 8-pin right behind the 2. And
textbook.
Perfect conversion. Yeah, well done, Bill. Under pressure.
That was a super dispatch from Bill O'Neill. But early as it is, Europe just in the ascendancy in this final game of the session. Back to Dom. 2 strikes out of 2 for Don Barrett. It's a turkey for Europe. 3 from 3.
Profile of Don Barrett. Really high backswing. Look at that. Deep knee bend. Great long stride. Holds the position. Just falls off the shot slightly on that delivery, but it carries all 10 pins, and he doesn't care. Bit of pressure on Tommy Jones here now.
Rises to it majestically.
Yeah, deals with it with another strike. Gives Bill O'Neill the next chance to stand up and shoot at 10 pins. Just 20 pins adrift at the moment. That's if they strike off. There's the maximum scores.
And Europe still have a potential maximum.
Andy, it's a bit early days for that. Now stop it. Come on, Mika, give us another strike.
Not that time. Got a break, didn't he, in the second frame with that tumbling 10. Not there, though.
Yeah, leaves a flat 10 pin in the corner. It's a spare for Don Barrett. Hard and fast and straight across the lane. Dom takes the spare away nicely.
Tommy Jones with a strike last time out, so it's Bill O'Neill next for the US.
There's the fingers deep in the ball, then the thumb follows in. Looking for 10.
Getting 10. Sweet as a nut, that.
Yeah, it certainly was, Andy. Great looking shot, and it's 2 strikes in a row for the Americans, who are coming back. Confidence growing ball by ball. Profile of Bill O'Neill, front and side. Long slide. Just a few inches away from the foul line, but that's okay. Holds the balance and follows through nicely.
Frame 5. Mika Koivuniemi. Europe skipper broke very, very early on the approach and leaves the two standing for the spare there.
Yeah, I don't know if you noticed with Mika, he doesn't quite get to the foul line. He's a good 4 or 5 inches short of the foul line. And consequently, this ball is ridden up. I mean, it's not a critical thing, it's something he just does, but this ball's ridden up high on the head pin. It's left the 3 and the 6, which is a very makeable spare for Dom Barrett.
Nicely done. Sweeping up operation there from Dom Barrett.
Yeah, but it was 2 spares in a row. And that needs to stop. If these guys want to win this game, they've got to start stringing a few strikes together, as we know they can do. Yeah, just talking amongst themselves about the difference in the line that they're playing and the reaction they're getting in the back end once they come off that oil at about 43 feet.
Sitting on a double currently, the US make that 3 in a row.
Yes, they maintain their lead with 3 strikes in a row, and that's the situation here at the halfway stage. Team Europe captain Mika Koivuniemi looking to get the first strike in 3 frames for the Europeans, and oh dear, how fortunate he was. That ball hurried on. It was a ball change for Mika, looking for something extra in the back end, and he didn't get it. The ball just hurried on, just clipped the head pin as it went through, and he's fortunate to break up anything at all.
And this is why these Scotch doubles are so interesting, with the shifting dynamics within teams, because Dom's just being passed the dustpan and brush here.
Yeah, he's doing all the clearing up, isn't he? Because Mika hasn't made strikes. And he was pretty fortunate just to leave that single pin standing there.
Of course, come frame 7, Mika will be up first again for Europe. On 3 in a row, the United States. So now it's Bill's turn to bowl.
Yeah, a good chance to take the pressure off of himself here if he can bury one right in the pocket. Carry 10, make 4 in a row. Get in that sweet spot. Oh, bit of overreaction there. That really did hook up quite violently, didn't it? Oh, snapped on him. Really, it leaves the 3-6-10, and Tommy Jones will have to spare this. See the shot here. Gets to the outside mark in his zone, and it's just overreacted in the back end. It's gone straight through the number 1 pin. And it's the 3, 6 and the 10. This will be a pretty straight shot, hard and fast. And it's quite a simple spare at the end of the day.
Well, that keeps things interesting here in the middle of this final match of the session. 6th of the session.
And it's more than interesting. It's just a 1 pin takedown now between the two. They're both working on spares. 1 pin difference in favour of Team USA. So it could go either way. As Mika stands up for frame number 7. Must get a strike soon.
3 without. That's more like it, Mika. The Moose let loose at last.
Yeah, certainly let loose in the hoose. Great looking shot here from the European captain. Great big snap in the back end, carries all 5, drives right through that 5 pin. Does all the damage. And it means so much to him. Now gives Dom a chance to stand up next frame and shoot at a full rack of 10 pins.
Something that Bill O'Neill is doing now for the US. Leaves the 10 standing and invites Tommy to finish the job.
Yeah, with a little less luck, that could have been a 7-10 split standing up. Let's just watch where it goes. Bill's move left on the approach, deeper inside. Doesn't quite get out as far to his mark, and it's in the pocket. But the 4 trips around the 7 and just takes it out, but the 6 leaves the 10 solid. And that was closer than you really wanted, as TJ just loses his footing on the approach there at the foul line.
Inside edge, but Tommy made it. Now then, a strike last time out from Mika Koivuniemi. Another one here, and the pressure is back on the United States. Re-rack.
Yeah, it's an important ball for Don Barrett. He's standing up to shoot at 10 pins for the first time in a couple of frames. Europe working on a strike, or with a strike, so it could be an important ball if he can double up, put some pressure back on USA, who are 10 pins adrift at this moment. And Mike Fagan doesn't look too happy. Chris Barnes looks as though he's just woken up off of 40 winks. And Don Barrett wants to put 10 in the pocket.
Which he does. Delightful from Dom.
Well, it raises the roof here in the Barnsley Metrodome. The crowd have just gone absolutely ballistic. They know it's such an important shot for Don Barrett and the European side. A lot of arm waving and tactics talking there. I'm getting this sort of reaction down that line. What are you getting down this line? It's all good information shared amongst the players.
Bill Firey on the back of 2 spares. There's a strike there. Those last 2 pins, what was it, the 8 and the 10, wiped their feet, but decided to drop.
This was so close to being a big split, wasn't it? In fact, that pin nearly stood up again. It was down and came up. It was the 8, well, it was something. It nearly stood on the 8-pin spot. He nearly had the 8-10 split there. But fortunately, both of them went, and it's a strike for Team USA.
Does that ever happen?
I've seen it happen.
Pin tumbling, standing up again?
It has happened, yeah. It gets hit in the wrong place and it actually stands up again and then gets picked up by the machine. It's quite unique, but very rare.
Mika. Oh, leaving that 10 again. Just can't quite hammer this home yet, Team Europe.
Yeah, Mika not really happy with himself. He too has moved left on the approach. A little bit tighter line. Nice reaction in the back end. The 6 jumps right down the 10. Doesn't even touch it. And the disappointment on his face after not a bad shot. Could have been 3 strikes in a row. Can only be a spare if Dom can make this one, which he does nicely. Team Europe move through the 200 barrier with that spare. Big chance here for Tommy Jones. Able to sew this one up for the Americans if he can make another strike here.
Strike, and 8-4 is how things are certain to look in terms of the overall scoring. It's the creep towards that 17-point mark, enough to win the Weber Cup. No.
That puts a different light on this game, doesn't it? A ball out of the pocket for Tommy Jones, and he can hardly believe it, but he sees the funny side of it. Just didn't get the overreaction in the back end. Gets to his breakpoint zone, and it's just, well, it's almost crossed the headpin left-hand side.
Heading on for Brooklyn territory there, weren't we?
Absolutely, yeah, it was. It was going all the way, and a bit of disappointment on that young lady's face, and she was obviously looking for a strike. Bill O'Neill's looking for a spare. She makes nicely. And it comes down to just 9 pins difference going into the last frame, so whoever can make a double here is going to pick this point up.
Right down to the wire.
Absolutely, Andy, yeah. It's been a great game, really. Both cards looking good. No open frames there.
Frame 10. Europe's captain, Mika Koivuniemi. Major Mika, the flying Finn. Needs to get in amongst them here. No. Thin on the right-hand side of the headpin. Leaves one standing. Oh, this one's in the lap of the gods.
A spare here and a strike may just be enough for Team Europe to hang on. It is that close. 224 maximum score. USA can still go off 226. They can strike out.
Dom sees that one off. No bother there.
Forces Team USA to get a strike at least on their first ball in the 10th. Last ball for the Europeans. As many pins as you can, Mika. Give us a chance. Put some pressure right on USA.
Yes! The best that could be expected in those particular circumstances. That's Mika Koivuniemi ending with a strike now. What can you do, Tommy and Bill?
Two strikes in 9 will be good enough, so they have to make 2 strikes. First 2 balls of the 10th frame. Anything less, and the point is Europe's. So it's all come down to the 10th frame, down to the wire, and the pressure is on. TJ Tommy Jones.
Well, he's the man you want in circumstances like that. Yeah, it has all come down to the final frame in the final game of this second session.
Well, Tommy's done his part by getting a strike on frame ball number 1 in the 10th. They need another one, and it's Bill O'Neill. Maybe a little bit nervous, Bill O'Neill. He's got to bury this one, carry all 10. Anything less, and it's a European victory.
Oh, he hit that very, very square, and the rueful smile from Bill O'Neill there. Yeah, last it's kind of sunken in, took a second or two, didn't it? But what a finish here in this final match of the session.
Yeah, I wasn't quite sure whether they were watching the scoreboard there or not, but as soon as that ball didn't strike, it was game over.
Fantastic for Europe. So they began this second session with 2 straight points in the Baker and the first doubles. Lost the next 2. First the singles and the second doubles, but now have finished the session with another 2 straight points. So the deficit is now just 2. An excellent second session from Mika Koivuniemi's men. The United States still lead, but Europe are back in this Weber Cup.
What a comeback for Team Europe. How impressed have you been by your performances and your team's performances this afternoon, Mika?
I think the whole team did what we planned to do. We wanted to win this session 4-2, and we did. We have to be happy, but we need to keep going. Our next session we need to win 4-2, and we all score.
Yeah, so you've won that session, Dom. Just feels a lot better now for you guys, doesn't it?
That's right. You know, we came into today knowing that we go 4-2, 4-2. We're right back in this, and it's all to play for tomorrow, and that's exactly where we are at the moment, halfway there for today.
And how important is momentum in this competition? Because you've obviously played in it plenty of times in the past.
Extremely important. I think that's they should probably rename it the Momentum Cup, because every time one team starts going, they're very hard to stop. We've known that with the Americans the past couple of years, and they've known it with us when we start get going. So we're just going to try and get our foot onto the floor and start going through them now.
It's got a certain ring to it, the Momentum Cup, hasn't it? Now you've got a couple of hours off. What are you guys going to be doing in the team room? Is it going to be protein shakes and ice baths?
We're going to eat something for sure, and maybe discuss a little bit how to play the lanes.
Sounds pretty sensible. Guys, thanks very much indeed. Well done to Team Europe, who've won yet another point. The winds of change are blowing through Barnsley, and Team Europe are on the charge. Goodbye.